Hello friends, so we have completed till now all the programming part. So let's next move to the communication, which is one of the main component. Okay, so I'm starting here with OPC UA. Why? Because it is a gateway to the IoT world. OPC basically stands for Open Connectivity, UA for Unified Architecture, or we can also say Open Platform Communication, Unified Architecture. So let's see how we work with this in Codesys. So Codesys by default provide a OPC UA server. In order to add or define the variables into OPC UA configuration, we need to add the symbol configuration file. So this is one way of exposing the data over OPC UA. So we need to give the name and we can add it. So once it is getting added, it will scatter all the variables which are defined in the project and it will bring into the symbol configuration. So once we come to symbol configuration, we can select which all the tags we want to expose over OPC UA. So we can, as we are seeing here, different symbols which are there. So for example, in the GVL global variable, we have two variables which we can check, and once we check them, it means it is selected to be exposed over OPC UA. So we can select different variables from different files. So let me select all the different variables. And then build it. So once the build will get completed, it means it is going to generate a file, XML file, which will contain all the variable which are getting exposed. So let's see. Let me generate and build the code and download it. So once it's downloaded, let's make it to run. Now we need to open a OPC UA client. So right now I'm using UA Expert as OPC UA client. So once we try to add server, as client and server are running on the same machine, so in local it is coming. So the communication right now happening is as anonymous, means with no security. Basically it is unsecure communication. So there are three different ways to communicate. One is with anonymous, one is with user credential, and one with the encryption and the certificates we can do. So we can see here when we browse, and we see that the tags which we have added or checked in the Codesys are getting exposed to the OPC UA client. So all the tags which we had selected, we can see it here. So from here we can be able to change the values, right? Because mostly all the tags which we have exposed are read write. So we can write from here and read it back. So as you see, I'm changing the value, so the add out is getting changed because I have a logic written in the PLC that based on this config, based on this logic, the add out should get coming. So let me go, I'll show you how exactly. So this is the logic which I have written. So multiple variables are there. So whatever the value I'm changing, all are coming here, and then the value is getting generated for the add out. So this is the first step to expose the signals how over the OPC UA. So by this you can expose any number of signals. Now let me walk you through so how we can hide the signal to be getting exposed, or how we can uncheck. So those signals should not be coming there. Okay, so let me walk you through that. So there are two ways. So one of the ways is to provide or mark that particular variable with an attribute called hide. So as I'm doing here, I'm marking this variable with hide. So gv in1 is getting hidden. Okay, so once I build the project, then let's go to the symbol configuration. So it will again ask that because we have changed, so it is asking. So right now it both are selected, so we need to uncheck and then rebuild the project. So once we compile it, we will see that the particular variable will get hidden. So let me check once it gets compiled. So you can see right now here only one variable is coming. Another variable which was there, it is not at all coming in the symbol configuration as well, because we have provided an attribute called hide. So that way we can also, and here I have unchecked also GB into, correct. So now let's go to the OPC UA client. After, let me download it. So once it get downloaded, let's go and check into the OPC UA client. So rebrowse it, go to the device set, Codesys, resources. So the name of the Codesys Linux control is coming of the controller name. Okay. Now if inside the global was, I'm not seeing any variable because one was hidden and another was unchecked. So let me just check this one and then re-download it. So once it get downloaded, let's go to OPC UA client. So now if we go to the global variable, yes, so we got here GB into, but for GB in1 if you see it is showing bad data unavailable, which means this particular variable is not at all exposed, because earlier it was exposed and we had added it, so it is added there, but it is not at all getting exposed. So this is so these are the two ways in which we can actually not allow this variable to be exposed. So now let me show you another way by using communication manager. So this is a new feature introduced only in the latest version of the Codesys. So communication manager, we can define a OPC UA information model. What is OPC UA information model? Basically it is a structure which is defined by OPC, that how we need to expose the data and what all the parameters should be there. So we can go into more details uh, in different videos, but okay. So we have added OPC UA symbol. Now let me add another object which is OPC UA Server. Okay, so this is also added only in the latest version part. Now we will go to the symbol set. So as we were having symbol configuration, so this is the symbol set where all the variables which are there will be getting exposed. So in the device demo, what FBD, GVL, PLC program, these three programs are there, and GVL is a global variable. So inside that, all the variables which are marked are will be shown there. Okay, what are coming from the libraries and what are coming from the pool. So for example, I have created one ladder program. So in that one INP BDI is there. So if I go and add it, it will be coming in the symbol editor. So I say symbol editor, it will get added and it will be coming there. So let's do this for 2 signal and then let's save it and generate the code. And let's, after generating the code, we will download and we'll see whether these two variables are getting exposed or not. So this is the another way of exposing the variable, but in the old versions these things were not there, so it has been only added in the latest version. Okay, so now once I see, we can, in the symbol type editor, we can even put the whole ladder program. Okay, so let me download it. So let it get completed. Okay, now let's go to the UA client. So refresh it. Now if you see, we have got the symbol set here, correct? So inside the symbol set we have those two variables also. So we have exposed. Now it is not coming under the device, but it is coming only in the symbol set. So this is a different way of representation of the same signal. Okay. So the source demo program, we have only a FBD program. We don't have any other thing. But from symbol set we got these two variables, and we can be able to use it in OPC UA client. Okay, so we have another feature here, use access right defined in the user management, but as I have not defined any user management, so it will not work. But I think with user management we can define the access for each variable or group also. So right now it will work by just selecting it doesn't make any difference. We need to have that user management configured basically. So once it get download, let's see. Yeah, it will work. It is working as expected. So I think we are good here. So let me show you another feature of OPC UA communication manager or so we need to click on the information model. Once we double click on the information model, it will show all the models which are already pre-feeded. Okay, so we can see that we have different object types, we have data types, so all those things. Now we need to actually create, so these are the abstract classes over which we can create our own object. Okay, so let me select anything very basic. So okay, so I'm adding this base object type into the right hand side space. Okay, so when we add any of this predefined models or the abstract classes, then we will be able to use that to create another object or another methods to create to run the logic. So I have added all here, so you can see that they are also coming in the OPC UA symbol objects, and all the function blocks or the user defined structure all are coming there. So now as we had defined base type, correct, so we will come here, we will create, now we will create a new click on the create new instance and select the base type or discrete alarm type, whatever we want to do, and give a name. So we have created DI1 and DI alarm. Now let me download it. So if we see it here, okay, so you can see that DI1 and DI alarm both are coming now as a symbol objects directly. So that also we can add, and we can see the values. So if you see, this is when we add, we have this particular structure inside that object itself. Okay, so it will have quality. So everything with respect to OPC UA defined architecture or the structure it will come basically. Or we can see the node ID is very different, correct? Yeah, so mostly this is the another way to add the different symbols for the OPC UA and expose it. So that's all from the OPC UA side. So this will enable us to connect with any IoT device and all those things. So once you start, okay, so till now all the communication which has happened is happened anonymous login and without any security or without any encryption. So the basic benefit of having OPC UA is to enable the encryption part. So let's see how we can do that. So let me first disable this allow anonymous login. If we have enabled it, it will allow on the anonymous login part also. Okay, so if we have to do so let's go to change runtime security. We will enforce the user management so that it should ask, and or we just remove the anonymous login. Now once we have removed it, it will not allow us to communicate. So let me show you. You see, we are getting it cannot be connected because now it needs the encryption part. So even we gave this username and password which we have given for the device, still it is not allowing me to connect. Why? Because there is no security enabled on the PLC side. So in order to enable the security, we need to have one add-on. So we go to Codesys installer, browse, and browse for security agent. So this has to be installed. Okay, we should install the latest version because they will be coming with the patch. So I already have it. So once we install it, will guide you through the different installation process. Okay, so after the installation, once it got completed, we need to restart the IDE, and in the IDE we will have the security agent in the not in the online, it will be in the view. So security screen. So click on the security screen. It will open one other screen where we can go and do the configuration needed for the communication part. So we need to put the certificate, generate the certificate. So this is the user which is for which the certificate will get generated. So if you see, the project is still with no encryption here, and the devices. So we have to go in the devices, refresh it. So it will come with the device name, which all the certificates already have. What are the trusted certificate, what are the untrusted certificate, that all we can configure it here. Okay, so first click on the device name and then click on the OPC UA server, and then we need to, right now there is nothing, so we need to generate the certificate for OPC UA server communication. Okay, so once we generate, it is there, it will come in the own certificate part. So there is no trusted certificate as of now. So we can even add any of the client certificate into the trusted one. So that I'll walk you through also. We can export the certificate from the PC to any location also. So now let me go to the server. No, it will be in the settings. So let me go into the settings. So manage certificates for the client. So if you see, we have all the certificate which are trusted and trusted, everything will come in this particular list. So let me first, so it's OPC UA expert own certificate is there. So we can go to the location where exactly it is. So in this one, it is the trusted certificate. So I had connection with the Siemens PLC. So for that, the trusted certificate is there. So in order to set it up, let's first go to own certificate, get the certificate. So this is the path for the UA expert certificate. So this we can add also into the device, that if we want to specifically only connect with this particular client as a trusted certificate, so it will allow whenever this client is getting connected. Okay, so let me, so first we can save our certificate to a particular location, and then let me, still if you see, it is not connecting. So let me download the program. And once we download the program, let's see whether it populates or not. So let's rebrowse it. Still nothing has changed, correct? So it is still showing only anonymous non-encrypted connections part. So for that, what we need to do is we need to reboot the PLC, and before that, let me add to the trusted certificate the OPC UA expert. So I don't know certificate is there, so I will add it. So once we have added, okay, let me reboot the target. So stop the PLC and start the PLC. Okay, so once we have done this, after that, if we go to the UA expert client and try to add and rebrowse it, now you will see that we have all the different type of connections which is supported by the server. Okay, so let me choose one of it. So we can select any of those. So let me select the 128 SHA 256 encryption, signed and encrypt. So when we try to connect, it will ask for you the username password. So we have to give the username password of the device, whatever we have set. And once we give, it will ask that whether you want to trust the certificate. Then we have to add that in our trusted list, continue, and then your connection is done. So this is how we can connect to secured channel basically, and this is how we can avoid any anonymous login, and we will be able to change all the values also. So, okay, so So let me show you different settings, so how we can change the application name. So right now if you see, we are getting the application name as OPC UA Server with my laptop name. So if you want to change this application name, what we need to do is we need to go into the device and security settings, and there we have to go to OPC UA Server and change the application name. So whatever the application name we will give, that with that should be able to browse it. So let me give the name. So once we have given the name, let's go to, you can, yes, start and stop the PLC, because these configurations are getting updated. So once it is done, let's rebrowse it, and here you go, you have the application name coming there, and we can be able to connect it with using that. Okay, so you see still my node id name is coming with the device name, which is Codesys control when v3x64. So if we have to change it, we need to follow another step. So let me guide you through that also. So in order to do the change of name, we need to open the Codesys control config file, and we have to update these two parameters. So node name whatever you want, and then node name Unicode we have to give. After giving these names, we need to save this file. So once we save and restart the PLC, and then when we go to the UA expert or any OPC UA client, let's connect back. It is connected. Now if we go to device set, you can see the name has got changed. So all the node ID will now be coming with this particular name. So this is how we can be able to set different names as per our need, or we can keep it by default also. So that's all from the OPC UA. So by this you will be able to do all the communication using OPC UA, and you will be connected to the IoT world. Thanks for watching. That's all for this video. See you in the next one.